Welcome and good morning. Welcome back to Mike Ferry TV. The week of April 1st, 3 months are gone. They're done. Can't change them. What's happened's happened. Remember, if you're looking backwards, it's hard to go forward. So let's assume that you followed your plans for March, for February and January, and now we are into a new month, the month of April. And we have 2 more weeks of these questions and answers that we want to obviously help you understand the answers to the common questions I'm being asked. And it's so much fun reading through these questions because to me, you're asking good common sense questions and I'm trying to furnish you with good common sense answers. So here's question number 1. Mike, what are the top 3 books you'd recommend I read that could help me with my mindset? Wow, that's such a great question. And there's 3 books that I recommend all the time to individuals like yourselves. You've probably read them all, okay? Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Obviously, one of the all-time bestsellers. I have probably read that book 100 times, if I've read it twice, okay? Napoleon Hill's work is one of the best works ever produced in the field of human development, okay, in terms of motivation, success. Buy that book and read it. There's revised editions coming out all the time. Keep doing it. But then the second book is a book called This is Earl Nightingale by Earl Nightingale. You'll have to go online to find it, but it's available. It's 100 2-page stories that he wrote about how to live your life better. He did 5,000 radio programs. His radio programs were little 4 to 5 minute programs that were listened to in the 50s, 60s, 70s, and early 80s. And Earl, out of his 5,000 programs, he took the 100 best and produced this book, This is Earl Nightingale. Wonderful book to read, okay? In the third book, The Power of the Subconscious Mind, by a man named Charles Murphy, written in the 50s, and it's as appropriate today for you and I as it was when it was written in the 1950s. So there's 3 books I recommend you read. Read more than that, and you're going to be a smarter person all the time. Question number 2. Why do I continue to resist the Mike Ferry sales training? I keep going to the seminars. I go to the workshops. I've been in and out of coaching. Why do I resist it? I don't have an answer. I can give you an opinion, okay? People, as we get older, are not apt to change their behavior as quickly as when they're younger. As you've heard me say, the average age of a real estate agent is in the mid-50s. As we get older, changing behaviors becomes a little bit more challenging, a little more difficult, and we simply don't want to do it. I understand that. However, if you don't have a background in direct sales, which is what real estate is, if you don't have a strong business background, and then you go through Mike Ferry sales training, which is direct sales and simple, good, basic business fundamentals, it is a bit of a challenge, and we're going to resist it. Now, we resist it because we don't want to change. We resist it because we don't think it applies to us. We resist it because our egos are too big. We resist it because we don't have the motivation to go out and do the things we ask people to do. I said to somebody a couple weeks ago on a webinar that I was doing, and I said, what we forget is that real estate in selling in high volume is hard work. I teach hard work. I don't teach the easy, simple, be on social media, buy your leads off the internet, send out fancy postcards with your picture on it and hope somebody calls. We teach hard work. People resist hard work. That is very normal, very common. So here's a thought. If you're not receiving what I call my Monday motivation, my motivational Monday reports that I send out every week, we send about to 260,000 people every Monday. If you're not receiving those, call my office and get signed up for Motivational Mondays because that will help break down the resistance that you have. The resistance is normal. Okay, we see it every day. However, the longer you resist, the less you do. Get your ego out of the way. Question number 3. Okay, this is a fun one. I'm confused about the contradiction of being competitive with not being attached to the outcome. Can you explain how I should balance these two traits? Okay. First of all, we say to people all the time, why are you so attached to the outcome? Watch, winning equals failing and losing a lot to get to the winning point in your life. It's just a numbers game. You're going to try X number of times and you're going to win a handful and lose a handful. Okay? Being competitive keeps you in the game. It keeps you excited about the opportunity. Being competitive says, I want to get that listing. I want to achieve my goal of 2 listings a month. Okay, I'm a competitive person. I want to achieve that. Okay, but understanding that in that process, you're going to lose a lot of the time. I do a seminar with 500 people. We'll generally have 75 of our coaching clients in the room. We'll have 425 what we call prospects. Out of the 425, if I can convince 10% to get in alignment with what I'm trying to teach, if I can convince 10% to become long-term customers, I consider it a big win. 10% of 425 is 42. Well, what about the rest of them? That's my answer. Watch, life goes on. I'm competitive. I want everybody to become part of what we teach, but I understand that it's a numbers game. Now, not being attached to the outcome means I am not going to worry about the fact that I can't win all the time. I'm going to walk away, I'm going to shake hands and not get the listing, and I'm not going to be attached to what they say. And why am I not attached? Because I can't win all the time. See, in your subconscious mind, you have to say to yourself, I want to win, but I'm also accepting the fact that I'm going to lose. I saw a great quote, and it said, it doesn't matter how often you're knocked down, it's how fast you get back up that makes you a champion at whatever you choose to do. Question 4, how do I reestablish, now listen to this great question, the connection with a past client that I'd not been in touch with for many years? It's so fascinating to me how many great real estate people like yourself just never worked their past clients and centers of influence. I don't understand that. You have your personal vein of gold in your office, in your computer, in your box with names. These are people that know you, like you, have dealt with you, have a level of trust with you. Are you not a respectably strong, dedicated professional real estate person? Of course you are. Can you not help these people get their home sold or buy a home? Of course you can. So you haven't talked to a past client in years. Watch this really important script. Ring, ring, ring. Hello, hi, it's Mike. I owe you an apology. Mike, for what? I haven't talked to you in 2 years and I apologize for not following up. I just wanted to call and say hello. Oh, Mike, we're perfectly happy in the home. As soon as you say I owe you an apology, all the barriers break down. So when you haven't talked to a past client, center of influence in a long time, it's always the same. Hi, don't use my name. Hi, it's Mary. Hi, it's Bob. Hi, it's Tim. I owe you an apology. And they will say, why? I haven't talked to you in a long time and it's my fault. I just wanted to reconnect. They go, okay. And that's it. Your reconnection. Now, if there's a major problem, believe me, you'll hear about it quickly. Then you decide how you're going to follow up. Question 5, I suffer from call reluctance. I'll do almost anything possible to start my prospecting. What are your suggestions? Well, first of all, you'll notice I'm laughing because, gee, I've never heard that question before. Almost 44 years now and a couple months of doing these trainings with people like yourselves, and I've never heard anything more than that particular problem. I suffer from call reluctance. I'll do almost anything possible to avoid starting my prospecting. What are your suggestions? Call 2 or 3 people from your database. Call 2 or 3 people in your database. Every morning that you're going to prospect, always call 2 or 3 people from your database first. Why? Because they're going to be receptive, they're going to be friendly, they're not going to argue with you, they're not going to be hostile, they're not going to hang up. Watch, if you call 3 expired listings first, those are tough phone calls. Warm up by calling people that you can have a conversation with. Because call reluctance is, I'm afraid of what I have to say, I'm afraid of who I have to say it to. Talk to friendly people first, okay? Talk to people that have a respect for you, that trust you. Call reluctance can be overcome by talking to 2 or 3 past clients' center of influence first. Question 6. With the current state of the U.S. real estate market, what would you suggest is the number one priority to ensure consistent growth in 2019? Nobody likes this answer. Talk to more people on a regular basis. Okay, if you normally talk to 10, start talking to 15. If you normally talk to 15, start talking to 20. As a market declines, our activities have to increase. As a market becomes stagnant, we have to become a little more aggressive. As a market starts to tumble based on a cyclical situation like we have today, my energy and enthusiasm has to go up. So the truth is, nobody wants to hear Mike Ferry say, you got to talk to more people. So let me whisper it. You got to talk to more people. Because nobody wants to hear it. It's the solution to the problem. On March 1st of this past, a month ago, we introduced a new program called Mike Ferry's Vault. And interesting, in our first month having this vault in effect, we have 551 subscribers to the vault already. What is the vault? Okay. I've been working for years. It's been kind of a life dream for me to create what we've created for you. Picture listening to millionaire real estate agents sharing their views on how to list and sell real estate specifically and how they've done it. Listen to both my views and agents doing 50 or more transactions a year to find how they've built their business through the Mike Ferry sales system. Listen to my hot topics, because there's hot topics that I record and talk about all the time. Listen to agents that will express to you, here's the 5 things I've learned and how I use them. Watch live listing presentations being done. We have about we now have hit 357 separate audio and visual recordings in the vault. Call my office. Sign up for the vault. It's really expensive. First of all, it's on demand, anytime, anywhere, iPad, on your phone, etc. $30 a month to be part of the vault. It is really a strong program, proven by the fact that we have over 500 subscribers in our first month. Get involved. Talk to you next week. Have a great week. It's the 1st of April. Time to go to work. Thanks.